When I got to my teenage years, which was the early 70s, we used to escape across the border from the Troubles, to be honest. We'd be going to places like the Pointon, or the Turin, or Buncrana. And I can remember the sense of almost relief, like you would have now going on holidays, the same sort of a feeling when you cross the border, because you're away from this trouble. And in the early 70s, at 16, at my age at that time, the Troubles were at its height. And it was a difficult time to be growing up, because you were being swung this way and that by different things that happened. For example, Bloody Sunday had a huge effect on everybody who lived in the city and beyond, and it has its effect for a long, long time. But I think going across the border at that time was an escapism. You were away from the army.
When the British Army came in, and they actually set up the checkpoint at Castlederg. And I remember, particularly Sunday afternoons in the summer, everybody went to Buncrana and down to Lisfannon and down to the beach, and you were coming back, and you had a queue on the Derry side to get over the border and to Donegal, and then coming back there was queues, on the Donegal side getting back.
People in the Republic say, "Oh, you're from the dark north," and we stayed away because, they don't understand it either, and they just wanted, a majority of them didn't want anything to do with it. So it's like two people living two totally different life experiences. And I don't know if even if Ireland became one, that Ireland would be united, because the North and the South would still have different experiences, and their life experiences, they make you the people that you are. So the border might always be there, even if it's not there, because of our lives and our different lives and the people that we are.
Sometimes it was exciting. Sometimes you're dropped off by boat, sometimes you're dropped off by helicopter, sometimes you're dropped off by car. But one of the happiest days I can remember spending was a beautiful summer's day. We were out in foot patrol, and it hadn't rained in a couple of weeks, and we were in the Calais Basin, up by Calais Reservoir. And it was that nice a day that we all got packed meals anyway. We actually stopped in the forest beside Calais Reservoir and had our sandwiches and stuff, and you can see across the reservoir, the border runs down the middle of the reservoir. You see the hillsides and the scenery and looking out towards Donegal and all the rest of it. It was one of the nicest days of my life. It really, really was. And then you got a wee bit tempted, and we ended up, I think some of us ended up swimming in the reservoir. Just because it was such a nice day and such an enjoyable thing to do.
My hope for the border would be that it would stay exactly as it is now. Nothing changed. It's just a soft border that you can go back and forward, trade back and forward, holiday back and forward, no disruption.
The border offers me, and should offer everybody, the sanctuary of us being British on the island of Ireland, not offering a threat to anybody who feels Irish on this part of the island of Ireland. And that's the way it should be. It should be an open, free, accessible border that I view as being the justification for my Britishness, but it isn't a threat to anyone's Irishness.
The absence of the border, I suppose, does help you feel that you are that wee bit more Irish than you were growing up. You felt possibly threatened by your identity because of having to give your address at a security checkpoint, identified who you were, and sometimes it made all the difference in how you were treated at those stops and at those checks.
It was a military zone. That whole border from Derry right up as far as Armagh, completely militarised with lookout towers, armoured vehicles, checkpoints, military themselves all constantly on the go.
There is no certainty, there's only uncertainty. And until, I suppose, we get some understanding of how it's going to affect us and how we work and how we live.
My fears are that It won't be that there'll be some form of hard border that could lead us back towards violence and potential for violence again, that there's absolutely no need for. It's not going to advance anything.
This conversation that I have mentioned has to be from one end of this island to the next. There is a not understanding about the North. And there is a not understanding as well about the fact that we, whatever our traditional identities in the North, have an identity which distinguishes us from the people in the rest of the island. Now, what diversities there might be within the rest of Ireland, that's their issue too. There are diversities. If only we could make friends with diversity across the board.